everybody. Welcome to Taped Crusaders.
That's
we
right.
review every superhero movie ever made. Co-host Mike L. Other co-host
Joshua Marvell. Yeah, we're going to be talking about the 1996, I think it is.
I think so.
TV movie pilot, Generation X.
Also, other co-host, co-owner of Meteor, Champion.
Hi, I watched 1996's Generation X.
How was that?
It premiered on Fox in 1996.
And that's all you have to say.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay.
This is
I read the Wikipedia page.
Okay,
got it
so
right
here's
here.
the thing, guys. Here it is. 1990s X-Men is at its peak. The comic is selling 1 million copies an issue. The cartoon is on TV. So Marvel does the smart thing. They go bankrupt. They're so desperate to sell the rights to all their stuff. They sell the rights to X-Men to Fox. And Fox is like, I know exactly what to do with X-Men. We're going to not adapt it. We are going to adapt the spin-off, the fourth spin-off of this comic book called Generation X that's only been out for like a year or two. And we're going to make a movie of that instead. And that's what you have with this TV movie.
So at the time, this was a brand new-ish thing.
Fairly, very brand newish, yes.
I've got a vague... What am I talking about? I have no idea what X-Men are.
Okay, so just so everyone knows, Ian's never read a comic book ever in his life. And he doesn't know what X-Men is. He's never seen an X-Men movie.
I've never seen an X-Men.
So this is your first exposure to X-Men.
Yes.
Okay.
We're going to show him Dark Phoenix next.
Yeah, basically. Okay, let's just summarize. I love X-Men, always have. When this movie came out, I recorded it on VHS, and I kept my copy until today. I still have it.
Until today, you threw it out.
Until I pissed on it. No. The reason I kept it is because I thought, oh my God, there's no way you can get this movie other than my copy. So I kept it, for 30 years or whatever. And I have
Only man with a VCR in 1996.
Yeah, that's true. The only one. And the thing is I'll just say I've seen this movie enough that I remember every single thing about it when I rewatched it. Okay? Josh, what's your experience with this movie?
I watched it on YouTube last week.
For the first time? What were you waiting for? Oh my God!
Wow.
Really? Okay.
Why'd you watch it on YouTube and not the fancy
I couldn't be bothered
AI
to sit on my computer.
upscaled version?
Oh
I tried.
man!
I
Ian
tried.
found a 720p copy.
That's right.
He didn't even watch it.
720 whole
I
Ps.
tried to sit on my computer, and I was so bored. I'm like, no, I need to go lay down. And I laid on my bed and watched it.
So boring you had to lay down.
from my TV. Like I couldn't do it. Yeah.
Okay, Ian. I don't even know where to start. Okay, so you know nothing about X-Men.
Nothing.
You've watched this movie.
Yes.
Just give us your general impression.
I liked it better than Batman Forever.
Okay.
What's the one that we
Okay.
just watched?
Batman
Yeah,
Forever.
Forever.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
a start.
Yeah. I've always liked Matt Frewer.
Okay.
Matt Frewer from Max Headroom fame. Like all nobody knows who Max Headroom is anymore either.
Well, we do, but
Yeah, I don't.
and Star Trek TNG fame.
Yes, he played Professor Berlinghoff Rasmussen.
Yeah.
Shake your
The-
watches, guys. It's been
time
2 minutes.
traveler.
It took us 2 minutes to get to Next Generation.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Some of Matt Frewer's finest work. It's natural we'd end up here. But I think that no, it was pretty terrible. He was serviceable.
Okay. Okay, let's just back up this conversation a little bit,
Sure.
okay? Everybody who's watching this knows what X-Men is, except Ian.
Except me.
But X-Men, at its core, is a school for superheroes. That concept gets ignored and addressed as the years go by to varying degrees. There was X-Men, then that was canceled. Then they had the new X-Men. Okay. First X-Men was Cyclops, Jean Grey, Iceman, Beast, and Angel, and Professor
And
X.
Banshee, right?
No.
Oh,
No.
okay.
And then later on, Banshee was a villain.
Okay.
Havoc
Right,
and
right.
Polaris joined the team. Then they canceled the book. Then they had the new X-Men, which was Wolverine, Storm, Colossus, Nightcrawler, Colossus. Did I say Colossus?
Mm-hmm.
Who else am I forgetting? Thunderbird.
Jean Grey.
Well, Jean Grey was still there. Then she became Phoenix. the point is that then a couple years later, they introduced the New Mutants, which we're not even going to name. Then 5 years later, they had X Factor, which was the original X-Men that came back. Then in mid-90s, they introduced Generation X, which was the, I guess you could say, third class of students. Okay? Third? Yeah, third. Fourth. And so then with this movie, with Fox, they decided we're not going to go to the original. We're not going to go to the second one.
That's what they're expecting us to do.
Yeah, we're gonna trick them. We're gonna go to the one that came out 2 weeks ago that no one's ever heard of. We're gonna adapt Generation X. So in this TV movie, Banshee is from the 60s, but in the comic book, he is one of the headmasters of the school. Emma Frost / Ice Queen is from the 80s. And at this point, she had become the headmaster, like the co-headmaster of this school of kids. In the comic book, there was more characters. I think there
were more than 5 students in the school.
Yeah, no. But to be fair, the original X-Men class was only 5, so it's not that outrageous. But in Generation X, not only did they not use them all, but they introduced 2 new characters to replace ones they didn't have the budget for. In this show,
they couldn't buy the rights to all of them.
No,
so
they
how many X-Men will $50 buy me?
No. It was that they couldn't do the special effects. So if Josh or Ian has a list of all the characters,
to know who the
let's go
original
through
characters
this, okay,
are.
folks?
Okay, let's see.
So let's just talk about, because even though I don't think Scott Lobdell's a good writer, he came up with some good characters. Chris Bachalo is a great artist. But we got the team here. Is this the comic book team?
Yep.
Okay.
We have Chamber.
So we have Chamber. So Chamber's power is he's able to project power
from his
out of
upper
his
chest.
Chest, but the first time he used it, he blew out his chest. So the character wears a scarf over his face at all times. Very cool idea. No budget for it. So they replaced Chamber with Refrax, who's the guy that shoots laser beams out of his eyes. Refrax, okay?
Who at first I thought was played by the actor who plays J-Rock on Trailer Park Boys.
Okay, I've never seen that.
For half a second, I was like, oh my God, is that J-Rock? And then it wasn't.
It wasn't. But he's also kind of like Cyclops. Have you heard of Cyclops?
I've heard of a Cyclops.
Yeah, he's kind of like Cyclops. Who else do you got here?
Gaia?
I don't know who the hell that is. Okay, next one.
Husk?
Husk was replaced in the movie by Skin. Similar idea. Idea.
So Skin is an original idea from the creators here.
Kind of, yeah.
Was that the guy with the skin?
Who stretches his arm? And
No. Stretches his skin. They were very clear on that.
Okay.
Isn't that so disgusting and awful and
a
weird?
lot of these characters
and
are
it doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense. It's disgusting and awful, and it's also horrifying. The scenes that you see his arm get pulled 50 feet long, and you know that all his bones are snapping in that skin.
Good point, but also when someone's leaving your home to go away to school, everyone, as we know, lets their hand be held by the why would someone do that? Why would someone hold her? Because if this guy did not have those powers, his arm would be broken or else ripped out of its socket and dismembered.
Because he had his hand held by this super strong 10-year-old girl.
Right, exactly.
Let go.
It's so stupid.
His superpowers are stretchy skin and very weak muscles in his hands.
Exactly. Okay, who else we got here?
Jubilee.
Okay, Jubilee is in the movie. You know Jubilee. The difference is in
Fireworks girl.
Yeah. In the comic book, Jubilee's Chinese American, and in the TV show, she's clearly not
white.
Chinese American. Yeah.
She's very good at playing video games. So
yeah, she's good at playing video games. So there's
which is the same in the comics too. M. So she's the. She's the smart, perfect human.
So she's from the comic book. Yep, she's good. Okay.
Mondo.
Who's Mondo? Who cares? Okay,
take the texture of objects he touches. So he's
he's in the movie. Yeah, that's actually a good idea. He's the one who absorbs things, like he absorbs a rock, becomes super hard.
Wow.
Yeah.
I missed that character entirely.
He's like the handsome football tough cool guy.
That was kind of like making fun of.
He's like black, kind of. He's like the coolest guy. There's the Billy Idol guy, and then there's him, and then there's the guy they pick on. There's only 3 guys.
Oh, okay. The 2 of them, they look to be the same character to me.
Okay. So it was him. Yes.
So there's Penance.
Not in it, I don't think. No,
silent, childlike, and mysterious mutant.
No, because Penance is someone else who was formerly named
This is all so interesting. This is all so interesting.
It's very confusing. You have to go back.
Huh? Okay.
Yeah, you have to go back. Okay, this is good.
Skin is also
people
one of the...
like to watch us read Wikipedia. Who else do we have here?
So we actually have Skin.
Yeah.
So he wasn't created for the
Oh, so
TV
I was
show.
wrong. Everything I just said, completely wrong. Erase what I said.
Cut.
Okay, we'll delete that part.
He possesses 6 feet of extra skin.
Yeah.
He could stretch his extremities, but mostly considered his mutation.
Is it exactly 6 feet of extra skin?
Which caused him to gray skin
Did he
and
get
painful
caught in a
headaches.
zipper or something?
Whoa.
Okay.
But mostly considered his mutation, which caused him to have sagging gray skin and
that's
a
why I
painful
said
headache.
the characters in this are gross, but it's on purpose. It's supposed to be a lot of body horror, which I appreciate. Okay,
And
who
then
else we got?
Cinch.
Sink.
An African Sink. Okay, sure.
Yeah.
With an H at the end?
I think so. Yeah, sink. Yep.
From the root word synchronize.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Okay. But anyway,
Yeah, okay.
so Refrax was new, and the girl was
he
different.
could copy
I think it doesn't matter. Who cares?
sense.
We'll talk about that later. Their teachers are Banshee and Emma Frost, all based on the comic book. Everything's cool up until that point. It's funny that you mentioned you like Matt Frewer.
A little bit.
I personally think he is the worst thing about this
100%.
pilot by far.
He's also the best part, though, because I think everything else is so boring that at least he's like being a cartoon character and there's something funny to watch on the screen.
As I was watching this, and I'm thinking about it now, this is why I enjoyed the Matt Frewer character. And this is why I enjoyed a bit of the arc of what he was trying to do.
Okay.
Is because we just watched Batman Forever. For
right.
that other podcast. And
This is an
Same podcast.
was it the same podcast?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That other episode of this podcast.
Yeah.
we do so many.
And there are so many parallels between the Matt Frewer character and the Jim Carrey character.
True.
Yep.
Right down to what they're doing.
Yeah, it's
and
the same
everything,
And how they act.
and how they act.
And
But
how they act,
but Matt Frewer was nowhere near as obnoxious as Jim Carrey was.
Ooh, I don't
disagree.
know.
I
listen. I don't even like Jim Carrey, but I'll give him. If Jim Carrey was in the room doing that routine, I would be annoyed with him, but also laughing at him. Matt Frewer, I would only be annoyed with him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Really?
I really don't like him.
I mean, I respect your opinion.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Okay.
But Matt Frewer, I felt that he could turn it down a little bit. He wasn't
When?
always...
Yeah, when?
Like when,
No,
I don't know.
When he was being sad and telling the story about the girl that embarrassed him and
but you know, like when he does that thing where he like ejaculates that one line where he's like, "I'm gonna kill them all," and blah blah blah, and then he like bites his nails. Remember that part?
Yeah.
He bites his nails, but it's so over the top and hammy.
Mm-hmm.
It drives me crazy, and he's like that throughout the entire movie. And it sounds like you agree with me.
Yeah, I don't know. There wasn't much with him that was well done. I think. Yeah, even his like moments where he is trying to like level with Skin and convince him to like help him out, I guess. I was the whole time I'm like, how can you buy this? Like, I don't know. How are you not, he's got like evil stamped on his forehead.
That's the thing, you're right.
It's
And
like,
at least with Magneto, you go, oh, I get it. With this character, you don't get it. He's just
right, because he's like leading a revolution. Like, you can understand. Like, Magneto is kind of right at times.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like, there's an argument there.
Yeah.
Nothing this guy does is right. Like, it's I don't know.
you see, I think maybe like you're both looking at this from a lens of people that have seen a lot of X-Men type stuff.
Maybe.
And I'm just looking at this from somebody who's just finished watching Batman Forever, and now I'm seeing something similar, and it's like I'm not quite as annoyed by this.
Okay.
And this is that's all you need sometimes when you're watching something horrible. Is just that little glimmer, like, oh, this is better than that other crap that I watched.
I know what you're saying. Well, here's the other problem, though, I find, is that the things I liked about this show were when they were just hanging out, like going into the diner and drinking pop and eating ice cream, and it was like a teenage, like 50s little melodrama. Or when they go to the carnival, it's like that's.
I'm laughing at the part in the diner where I forget which one of the kids was starting a fight with the jock at the other table just by shoving as much food into their mouths.
So stupid.
I can fit a whole pizza in my mouth.
It was stupid.
I can fit a whole burrito in my mouth.
Okay, but here's the thing. I'm not saying it was good, but at least it resembled. Like, I know what they were going for. Like, this is a teenage melodrama. I get it. And all that stuff worked. And the X-Men...
It didn't work, though.
Hold on,
It didn't work.
wait. Hold on. Let me just finish my point. The X-Men did that. Like, the X-Men comic, we want to go into town. We got to get money for the bus. And it's like, look, these superheroes are also teenagers and they have real problems. That's Marvel. That's what the thing is, right? And in this show, at least they were doing that. The moment, and then, they're in school. They have a teacher. They don't get along with the teacher. The teacher's a bitch. It works. But then when you see this guy who wants to control your dreams because we saw Batman Forever and we have to copy the villain and copy his acting style and the lighting style, that's where it doesn't work because that has nothing to do with X-Men. At least in the X-Men movies, it all is the same theme of prejudice and, whatever else. Magneto fits in with that. Right? Apocalypse fits in with that. Evolution. This movie, the villain has nothing to do with the theme. So it's like all the times where the kids were on the screen I was watching, all the times where Matt Frewer was on the screen, I just got bored out of my mind because it has nothing to do with the concept. What do you think, Josh?
I don't know.
I just hated it all.
Because even I get what you're saying. When there's X-Men properties and whether it be the comics or the cartoon or movies, when the kids are like being kids together, it's so much fun. Like even the worst X-Men movies, like I think it was Apocalypse. Yeah. There's a scene similar to like what happens here where Jubilee goes to an old arcade in the 80s or 90s maybe, and it just feels right. Like it's the best parts. This, however, these scenes felt like they were written by a guy in a suit that was trying to imagine what teenagers did. Like it was not
true,
done. So when you said that it was like, it was done so well, I was just I guess the concept of children was done.
What do kids nowadays do when they go out anyway? They try and shove food in their mouths.
It's like giving Batman Forever credit for killing Bruce Wayne's parents. It's like, shit.
Okay, that's a good example.
You know what I mean? It's like,
I
guess they did that right, but.
I'm not saying it was done well, but it was done.
There we go.
It was in the thing. It was in the movie.
Definitely a part of this thing we watched.
But why don't we let's talk about these actors? Okay. So, do you have your Wikipedia open there?
Yeah, I do.
Because that's people you like to watch us read Wikipedia.
So Jubilee.
So Jubilee, my favorite character. I had a crush on this actress when I was a kid.
Me too.
I thought she was really good.
I lived on Jubilee Street in Halifax, and
Did you seriously?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
no, I mean the actress, not the character. I mean this actress,
the actress.
Heather McComb. She's really cute. She's still cute. Anyway,
not my Jubilee though.
No,
I don't know.
Different Jubilee. Yeah. As we said earlier, this character was introduced in the mid '80s to kind of replace Kitty Pryde as the entry point to the young readers, right?
Yeah.
So it makes sense that we follow her along into this story. We're introduced to everything through her eyes. So yeah, I think she did a great job. I think she was good in this film. What do you think, Josh?
She was okay. She kind of had like a Lori Petty in Tank Girl kind of vibe to her.
Little bit.
With her
accent
and she's zany. She's the quirky one of the group. She's fine. I feel like we do kind of follow her along at the beginning. And then I feel like she's kind of sidelined halfway through, which kind of
we'll get to that in a minute. The final battle is effed up. I know. I have to point out that I think her character was partly inspired by Madonna. Like when she was introduced in mid 85, 86, she was supposed to be like that type of girl, like in the mid 80s, the American girl that goes to the mall, that dresses like Madonna, that hangs out at arcades, does that. That's the
makes sense.
The archetype for her character. So, yeah. Anyway,
yeah, she was fine in this movie, but again, I think that the writing kind of
might have
doesn't do her
sabotaged
justice, and then her being like sidelined and not being the main character halfway through blows. But
Ian, what do you think?
She was fine. Yeah, good look. She could act, which is helpful. Like, there's one scene that pops into my head. It was a great example of acting on her part, but it's also one of the funniest scenes in the movie.
Okay.
Where her and Skin, I think, they go into there's a room that has a chair that hooks into your brain for cerebro. Okay, and she's like, no, I have to go first because I don't know how to use this machine. And she goes into the dream world and sees her dad for a second, but then Matt Frewer's there and is creeping on her. And then she wakes up and she's having this panic attack. Oh my God. Matt Frewer's in there. He's being really creepy, but like she's visibly upset. I'm like, oh, you're doing a good job of this acting. But then, what's his face again? Skin. She's like, there's a really creepy guy in there. And he's like, oh, well, I gotta go. And he jumps onto the table. Like, the fact that there's a creepy man inside this thing, he's like, now I'm ready to go in.
Sure.
Which I thought was hilarious. This isn't turning you off? Now you're even more excited to go to see this creepy man?
There was some bizarre writing in this, definitely.
And then they become best friends.
I think it's because they're both kind of the new students and they're the outcasts. I think that's why.
No, Matt Frewer.
Oh, wait. Yeah. Oh, that's weird. Yeah, that's a whole different story. There's some weird, like I said, there's some weird plotting in this movie. Okay, I don't want to forget this. I was watching this movie going, who directed this? You're not going to believe who directed this. The guy who directed Nightmare on Elm Street 2. Have you seen it?
Probably a long time ago.
Have you seen it?
Same, probably a long time ago.
Arguably the best one to some people.
Oh, wow.
It's really good. But also, Dream Dimension. Maybe they had the plot and they're like, who can we get to direct this? Wes Craven's too expensive. We'll get the guy who directed Elm Street 2. Maybe that's why. I don't know. Maybe he's the one that came up with these ideas of this dream dimension. Doesn't fit at all with Generation X, but that's okay.
Yeah, it's so strange. And the fact that, like, in this, all mutants are connected to the dream dimension.
No, bullshit. All bullshit.
And they can just go there.
Stupid.
But the machine helps you do that, but you can also just activate it.
Bullshit.
You can also just activate it.
Why is there that machine at the school, but then Matt Frewer has an identical machine?
It doesn't make any sense.
Nothing makes sense in this.
It's not. It doesn't fit at all.
Cerebro in the comics is like a very big thing. Even in all the movies as well, it's like a important part of X-Men lore, and it's just to amplify telekinetic abilities
and to identify where mutants are, so they can track them down and recruit them. Yeah.
So it's not a whole other world.
Not at all. Not
that
even
you
close.
Can use to trick people into buying.
No.
products.
It's basically you could say it's like a radar for mutants. That's it. Okay. It's just radar. Yeah. Okay. What else you got, Josh? Who's next on the list of actors here?
Oh, I don't know.
Let's see who we got.
Is it Matt Frewer?
Emma Frost.
Ooh, did not like
Finola
her.
Hughes.
No. All. I'm sorry. No offense to this actress. I didn't like her at all as Emma Frost. What'd you think?
They could have put a mannequin in her place. Like, even when spoiler alert for our Generation X 1996 TV pilot.
Shit.
But when Skin grabs onto Matt Frewer and falls into the dream dimension, she goes, no.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't believe it.
Right.
I was like, there's no way they used that take.
Right.
Like, she was so wooden throughout this entire thing. Like,
I don't even think she was wooden. She was just one note because she was always kind of just pissed off. You know what I mean? But maybe in that particular scene she was wooden, but in other scenes she was just pissed off. Yeah. And just like angry.
Wasn't for me.
Angry. What'd you think, Ian?
I assume you're talking about the blonde woman.
Yeah, the English woman.
Okay. The fact that we need to confirm what character we're talking about is all I need to say about this character.
Sure. Okay.
Right?
Well, she was the head of the school.
Yeah.
So that's hard to. She stood out.
Well, not really.
Well.
Not really.
There's only two of them.
I still had to ask, is this who we're talking about?
Okay.
So yeah, that's how well this character was portrayed that I don't even know who the fuck we're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay,
so not
whatever.
good.
No.
Well, then we might as well talk about Banshee, who's the other head of the school.
Okay.
Oh, by the way, I should point out, I believe every single one of these actors was Canadian.
Oh.
This doesn't say much for us, but the guy who played Banshee was not Irish. He was Canadian. And
Jeremy Ratchford.
And I'm not an expert on the Irish accent, but he was just doing an Irish accent for the whole movie.
It felt like a bit.
Yeah, it felt like a bit. It was.
Yeah, when we were first introduced to him, it wasn't super strong, I feel like. And then the next scene, it was like extremely strong. I think it was when he was when they were going to when they intercepted Jubilee's parents, and at first I was like, is he doing a bit?
Oh, like that's how they're gonna get past the guards, but pretend to be Irish.
Yeah. I'm like, what is going on here? And then, it took me a second to realize that's.
And he didn't have the vibe of the comic character at all. I didn't think.
I didn't mind him in this. At least he has some sort of relationship with the kids. Not that it wasn't a great role. It wasn't but I at least bought him as like the opposite of Emma Frost.
Sure.
Allowing the kids to like take the truck and you're just if you mess up, you guys are expelled or you'll lose your privileges or whatever. Like there's moments where I can like see a character where I didn't really in a lot of the other people in this. So
sure.
I'll give him credit there where I was like I didn't hate, I kind of maybe enjoyed him.
Okay.
Yeah.
I couldn't really see past the accent. To be honest, it just it seemed too
put on,
too comical.
Yeah.
It was too distracting.
Yeah.
I don't know. He didn't.
Okay. Can we also talk about the special effect of his voice? So Banshee in the comic is supposed to have a supersonic scream that like just affects people. But when he does it in the show, it is so freaking bad, eh?
Yeah, he just like, kind of yells and
because
there's this weird visual effect.
Here's the thing: here's the thing, like there's a limited frequency. It's just like color. You can only show a limited frequency of colors in a TV show or a movie, as well as with sound. So how do you? If you know that the sound is a frequency that's going to disrupt the human, balance or whatever, how can you put that in a show? You can't. It's impossible.
Is it impossible?
Well, I think you can put it in, but it won't broadcast. You know what I mean?
Well, it doesn't have to be literally a frequency that will disrupt people's brainwaves, right? You could just have like a really high frequency.
Or like nails on a chalkboard. Like figure out that frequency.
Something abrasive and have him just do a thing with his mouth.
Yeah.
And then put a really high, like a ramped up tone. And then it's probably easier to do it that way because you don't have to worry about the audio from that take or whatever.
You could even do like having background sounds like mute out while like a frequency happens, like, and then as it stops, you kind of like hear everything you get. Like you could definitely do something with the mixing,
but also do something unexpected, like it's super low or it's super like a combination of weird sounds where you're like, what is that?
Yeah, like make it the brown note. You familiar with the brown note?
No, what's that?
The brown note is
it's like white noise.
No. It's a very low frequency note that if you play it loud enough, it causes uncontrollable bowel movements.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. Like, find that and just play
that
it.
out.
Yeah, exactly.
To everybody watching Fox.
But like something other than him yelling really loud. You're yelling too loud.
I know, it was crap. Okay, but we have a lot of other characters to talk about. Okay, who's next on our list of actors in this?
We have Skin, played by Agustin Rodriguez.
I mean, he did his role fine. I don't know. He was okay. He was okay. He played that role.
That's kind of how I feel.
Yeah, he played that role. He had some weird special effects.
Yeah, not his fault, but as far as his actual acting, he was okay. Did you like to see when Matt Frewer's like, I gotta tell you something, I don't like your hair. And he was just about to shave his hair off before he got stopped. That was funny. Anyway, okay, I guess on to the next one.
Quality Matt Frewer delivery there.
Played by Amarilis.
She was fine.
Yeah,
I don't know what to say about her. She was good.
Wait, was she the one with the ripped?
No, that was the other one. Em was the one who was like, she had darker skin. She was like beautiful, and the whole idea.
She jumped around in a bra and a jacket.
Yeah. She was supposed to be like super strong, super hot, and everything. And she kind of like that's her character. Like she's perfect at everything. Yeah, she's just good at everything. Yeah, that's her. She was fine. She was fine.
Mondo.
Okay, which one was Mondo?
Let me see.
Oh, Is this the show you're looking at?
This is how memorable these characters are.
Who's he played by?
He was played by Bumper Robinson.
So he was the tough guy, the cool guy that was picking on Skin.
The one with the eyes?
No, that's Refrax.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so Mondo, what is his power again?
He takes on
he absorbs,
a
very cool power, almost like Absorbing Man.
Yeah.
And remember when they're about to go into the fight with the local toughs, he absorbs a rock, I think, and I think that's a cool power. I think the actor's fine. Do you know what we're talking about, Ian?
I don't remember.
He's the jock.
I know who you're talking about now, but I don't remember anything that he did. I don't remember anything. I don't remember him turning into a rock.
He didn't actually turn into a rock. No, he absorbed a rock.
This show
and used,
so much more.
He absorbed the power of the rock. You didn't visually see him turn into a rock. Okay,
so he was.
Like his
how does one absorb the power of a rock?
He absorbed the strength of a rock.
Yeah.
So his dexterity of a rock.
Kind of like
so there's only three guys.
The structure.
There's the Hispanic guy. There's the Billy Idol guy, and then there's this guy who's kind of like, I think he's black, but he looks like a football player. He's tall, he's really handsome, and he's like the tough, cool guy. And he picks on Skin for the whole movie, the entire movie. That's the plot of the movie. Okay, it doesn't matter.
It's interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Okay. I'll have to watch it again and look out for this main character that does all the things.
Okay. Well, anyway, so he sucked. Okay, who's next?
Buff.
Okay,
Susan
Buff
Davis.
The girl? Okay, I actually thought she was good. She was the blonde girl. She was the one who I was afraid to disrobe, because when you see her, she has the physique of like a muscle-bound man. Again, this is why these characters are cool, because even though she's not for the comic book, it's playing off of body, not horror, but like body shame and like being a teenager and you know, all that stuff. So I like that fact that she was super ashamed of being seen with her clothes off, and at one point Refrax is making out with her in the car and his powers kick in, remember? And he sees through her clothes, but maybe he doesn't. And I think it's a good character, good actress. I don't know, what do you think?
Yeah. I don't remember.
Okay. On to Ian.
We were moved by this film.
I can't remember a single thing she says.
Maybe because I've seen this 20 times. Anyway.
Maybe, but I remember those moments. And like, she won't even change in front of like her roommates.
Right.
Yeah. She was good. Yeah.
I thought she was fine.
Yeah.
Ian, what do you think?
You could buy the fact that she's uncomfortable about she's always wearing a baggy sweater and just kind of like. Yeah.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. Next. Yeah. Who do we got? Oh boy, I wanted to punch this guy in his Billy Idol face. His blonde spiked hair and his sunglasses and his demeanor. I mean, he's a good actor, but I did not like his character at all. What do you think?
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was maybe the other one that I kind of bought more than any of the other ones.
Really?
Yeah, I can buy him as like the douchey.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, he played that role convincingly.
Yeah.
He was a douche.
Yeah. So yeah, obviously, like, you're not really meant to love the character.
Sure.
But I liked the character in the role. You know what I mean? If that makes it, like, the actor in the role, like, it all worked. I bought him being a bully and.
Yeah, he was good in the role.
Yeah,
and then later he had an arc where he was forgiving, or he was like apologetic to what's her name, Husk. Is it Husk? No, Buff, whatever her name is. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we even get that like weird. This is what I mean by it felt like it was written by adults. Like, you could tell that
board of directors.
Yeah, because there was the scene where the two guys are talking. And they were talking about Buff's body. They're like, yeah, you remember that one time we were playing football in gym class?
Yeah.
And she tackled you and I had to rip her off of her?
Yeah.
Well, I felt her up.
Yeah.
While I was doing that. And I think that her body is pretty banging.
Yeah, he's an asshole. But he plays it well.
Yeah.
I didn't like him, but yeah, he's good in the role. I wanted to punch his face in, but he's fine though. Ian, do you remember this character?
He was believable. And he did soften. As he went on, there was despite the fact that he felt her up at one point discreetly, during a football game. There's a nice little moment that he has with Buff where he's got the flower and he's trying to rizz her up by because she's got a biology textbook or something.
Right.
She's like cerebral or something. And hey, can you tell me a little bit about this flower? And it's all a subterfuge because he wants to give her the flower to invite her to a thing at the carnival, I guess.
Even
and it seems as though like he becomes a little bit likable in that moment.
Even when they're in the car and his powers do kind of like amplify and he can see through her top, he like calls it off too.
He freaks out a little bit.
Yeah.
He freaks out.
Which kind of humanizes him a little bit too.
So
like he's not like doesn't want to take advantage of her, I guess, in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
But who else do we
on
talk
that note,
about?
that's it. That's all the that's all
the characters.
That's all the characters in the show, and that's a review. Generation X. No, here's the thing. Again, when this came out in the 90s, I recorded it, and like I said, I watched it enough times that when I rewatched it this week, I remembered everything about it. I remember the dialogue. Like I'm like, I know what's coming next. I know what's coming next. I know what line. I know the punchline. Not sure why I watched it so many times because it wasn't very good. Like I said, when Matt Frewer was on screen, I could not watch. I really didn't like him. I didn't like the crooked camera and like the green and orange lights. I hated that because to me that was just trying to be Batman Forever, right? But I didn't hate the kids. I didn't hate their interactions. I didn't hate that stuff. I liked it enough that maybe this could have been a TV show that would have succeeded. Maybe, I don't know. Josh, what do you think?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't. I don't even know how you would continue on like a weekly basis based off this pilot. Like,
well, when they put the costumes on at the end, we know exactly how it would continue. No, I mean, I guess they should have just first of all adapted the comic, which they didn't.
Right.
But that would have been a start. But
yeah, like I don't know how like an episodic thing like that starts out like this would continue on. Obviously,
was this intended to be?
It was a pilot. It was a failed pilot that they just released. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't buy anything that anybody does in this movie. I think that even the bad guy's plan doesn't make sense.
Oh yeah, it's
like
idiotic.
It almost makes sense. Like for a moment, I was like, oh, they're actually gonna like do something clever with this. Like they're gonna have the girl that he's interested in lure him out to capture him, or like, you know what I mean? Like I was like, okay, they're building on to something, but it never really truly makes any sense.
No,
anything that happens.
Like first of all, when they're in the dream dimension, it doesn't make any sense. Like the whole and again, I like this director. I like Elm Street too, but the whole like dream dimension of like the brick wall and they're behind the brick wall, then they're all standing there. And by the way, you mentioned earlier that Jubilee gets sidetracked when they have the final battle. I was keeping track, and there's 5 or 6 members of the team, and only half of them get to do something in that final battle. Because I was keeping track, I'm like, oh, he got to, she got to, and then they forgot about everyone else. And I believe Jubilee was one of the ones that didn't do anything. And I'm like, that's not good writing. Like, if you're going to have a protagonist for your show and they just get to the final battle and don't do anything, that's just stupid. That's right. Yeah.
What was her? She could shoot lightning out of her
firecrackers, fireworks.
Did she ever
use them?
Use them for like an effective reason? Yeah,
she did at one point. I don't remember when, but at one point I remember shooting them, and it did work. But it was just kind of one of those things where, again, if this was only the first episode of a series, we'd be more forgiving, maybe. But because it's the only thing we have, it just seemed like, why was she there? Right?
Yeah.
I think a lot of that kind of why is any of this happening pertains to the finale of this movie, because even the bad guy doesn't have any powers, really. Like, what does he do in the dream dimension? You know, like, I know limited budget, but like, why not give him the ability to, in the dream dimension, do anything he can dream?
Well, he got the power to become very large.
Big?
Yeah, that was it. But like, who cares?
But then it doesn't
go
anywhere.
At least with Freddy in Elm Street, Freddy can kill you. Right? So there's that. I don't know, but he whatever. I don't know. It's just like you're right. It's like they didn't define what he could do.
Yeah, this movie needed some rules. About
right.
what is possible and what's not, and what the dangers of being in the dream world are.
Right.
Right. If Nightmare on Elm Street, you die in your dream, you die in real life.
Right.
And you generally die the same way that you died in the dream, which is a little scary. But here it's like, I don't know. They had some interesting little ideas that didn't really go anywhere. The fact that Matt Frewer, they went to wake him up and he got sucked out of the dream world, but then Skin grabbed him and pulled him back in.
Yeah.
And now his consciousness is in the dream world and his body is just
That's cool.
a vegetable. That's an interesting idea. Now do something with it.
Right.
Use that as one of your rules. Like if something gets interrupted, then you're stuck in the dream world forever.
Sure.
And this could be his rationale for being a villain, because now he's stuck in the dream world. He can't get out no matter what he does, and now he's going to take his revenge on these kids.
Sure.
But instead, they did nothing.
No.
Right. Or they didn't. That's definitely true.
Yeah.
So a lot of scattered ideas, but here's the thing. It sounds like, Ian, at the end of the day, you enjoyed this more than Batman Forever.
I did.
Wow.
I did.
Can you
And
explain that?
I don't know exactly why. I think that Matt Frewer's plans seemed a little bit more they were insane, but they were a little bit more grounded in reality
Than Riddler's.
than Riddler's. And there were little things that I could say, okay, you did it this way in this, you did it that way in this. They both came down to an argument with the boss over money and continuing this crazy work. Bruce Wayne said, no, we're not going to do this. Or he said, well, you have to wait. And then Jim Carrey went crazy.
Right.
Same thing happens here, except Matt Frewer's just like, okay. And he just put a lid on it. But then he, at the meeting later on, he continued with his plan.
Right.
I think that made a lot more sense. I don't know. It seemed more human.
Okay.
More less batshit crazy. I mean, he knew that he was crazy, but he didn't operate in a completely crazy way.
Yeah. I think for me, I don't think that Batman Forever was good, but I think at least the craziness of Batman Forever was more fun to watch than just like the boringness of this guy's plan.
Well,
you know, like it felt like a Jim Carrey impersonation.
I'll
like
give it
you know
that.
what I mean?
I'll
like,
give it that.
Yeah, I don't think either of them were good. You know, but
then again, like, do you call it a Jim Carrey impersonation? Because that's what he does anyway, right?
You're right. It's almost hard to gauge it, because when did Max Headroom come out?
Yeah,
was he first?
I believe he was. This is
so this is probably
early to mid 80s is when Matt Frewer came on the scene, and Star Trek: The Next Generation, that was late 80s.
Right.
So he was doing a very similar character in that episode where he was the time traveler. Like, he wasn't batshit crazy over the top, but he was animated. He had the same sort of speaking cadence, and
it's tricky. I know what you're saying. It's almost like what came first, or is it just a parallel? Is it a coincidence? I don't know. But
there has to be some reason why they casted him in this role, and
certainly,
some reason why it's dream related.
It is only a year apart, though, so it is interesting
that it's
that close.
That's close,
because how quickly would they have time to like change to like make it more like Batman Forever?
But it's not just him though. It's the lighting, right? It's
true.
The crooked cameras.
But
like,
it is also the 90s.
I know,
but
but I think, like, let's be honest. Like, Batman, the first one, was so influential. To say 90s, you're almost saying, oh, Batman. Like, Batman created a lot of that style, and I think Forever, it's like it forever pushed it in another direction. And when this movie came out in 1996 or whatever it was, I was like, oh yeah, this is Batman Forever. That's how I felt anyway.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know. What do you think, Ian?
Well, I definitely got that.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the first things that I said is that I enjoyed this more than Batman Forever.
Right,
and it's because it reminded me so much of it.
Batman Forever, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to say that parts of it were definitely lifted from Batman Forever. I don't know how much time these things take either, but I don't imagine something on this scope is really set that much in stone.
Right.
I imagine there's a lot of just ad-libbing going on. There's a lot of last-minute try this instead.
Yeah, like panic, like, okay, let's do this. This isn't style, though. Let's do that.
Yeah.
Could have been.
And
right?
something about a small production is that you have that flexibility.
Sure. Yep.
The flexibility to steal.
Oh boy, we won't even talk about steel. Oh, let's not go there. Anyway, okay, I was actually really looking forward to this review. In fact, when we started this podcast, this was one of the ones I was like, I can't wait to get to the Generation X episode.
Backfired.
And we've let him
boy. I still like Jubilee. I still like some of the food eating contest in the diner, things like that. That was good.
Did you like the part where Jubilee was getting yelled at by her mom for being a mutant?
Ugh.
How dare you be a mutant? I didn't do anything, Mom.
That was over the top analogy, like over the top symbolism, bad, not good writing, very bad. Yeah, I don't know what to say. They didn't know what the heck they were doing in the 90s. They maybe figured it out a little bit since then. Ugh. And this was going on at the same time as the X-Men cartoon, which I didn't even like, but it was better than this. Yeah. So anyway, Ian, this is the first time you've seen any X-Men property.
Yep.
Hopefully it gets better. We'll see.
I don't see how we can top this.
Yeah, that's true. So there you go, Generation X, folks. The first live-action adaptation of an X-Men property. I recommend it for Jubilee. That's it. Josh, do you recommend this?
No. At least Batman Forever had Kiss from a Rose.
Ooh, all right. The soundtrack for this was not great. Ian?
Yes.
What'd you think of this?
It was trash. It was boring for a lot of it. I didn't watch the whole thing. Like I watched the whole thing, but I didn't pay attention to the whole thing.
You zoned out.
Yeah, like my attention tapered off as things went.
Me too.
And
me too.
the last fight, I don't remember much of anything. But I don't know.
You don't remember one main character at all.
I don't remember the main character. I'll always have a soft spot for Matt Frewer.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
So if you like Matt Frewer, you might like this.
You'll love this.
You'll love Generation X. So there you go. Check it out. Available on YouTube for free.
Yeah.
Available in 720p if you can find it. Check it out.
Available in Mike's
my
VCR.
VHS copy. You can come to my house and watch it anytime you want.
If you want to copy the upscaled version, just leave us something in the comments.
There you go. And then maybe we'll share it with you. There you go. Something new. We should feature that every week.
Yeah.
Well, I never thought of that. Anyway, okay. So Josh is going to tell you where you can find our episodes.
You can find all of our episodes on our website at thecomicbooksyndicate.com. You can also find the video format versions of our episodes on YouTube. So check us out there. Leave us a comment. Leave us a like. Let us know what you guys think about Generation X.
We want to thank Champion for doing movie night every single week. Tonight we watched Dr. Strangelove, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb, but we decided to review Generation X instead.
Fantastic choice.
Yeah. But
I'd make that choice again if I had to.
And until the next time, see you later. Generation X sucked.